base, lowest form of human is exalted and risen to a level of equality with those who are noble. Okay? And so we're living in this time of dark age of the weak ruling over the strong. The most base being exalted and glorified by society as something righteous, right? And what you had yesterday with that transgender was this deformity of a human. Because when you go that route, transgender, you deform your biological nature that's been given to you by your creator. And then you hate everything that is opposite of that. Why? Because nature's telling you, reminding you every day, when you look in the mirror, when you wake up, it's reminding you every day that you are dysgenic, perverted. You ruined what has been made in you from conception. And you've thrown it all away forever. Because to go back, it will never be the same. So you have this nature hitting you in the face every day. So then what nature does give life to, the family, the feminine, the divine feminine, the divine masculine, what nature does give preeminence to, you hate. And what is more of a symbol of the family unit and values than a Christian school where there are innocent children who obviously, if it's at least a decent Christian school, those parents put them in there so that they can learn family values, right? So they don't get corrupted by exactly the person who shot them up was corrupted by Jewish morality, Jewish perversion, right? Everything that is ugly, the deformity of of man or woman, and that deformity comes in. It manifests itself in this LGBTQ ideology, right? Even when you look at homosexuals, there is something off about them physically, right? There's something off about them, right? Same thing with the woman. Now, where I grew up in Southern California, they would call women that were lesbians ma flora, means bad flower, in Spanish. The ultimate of this is transgenderism. And so these children at this school represent everything that the transgender is not. Healthy, moral, family-oriented. The things that nature blesses. See, nature blesses family. Nature blesses the woman with the ability to procreate, and she needs a man to do it. Nature rejects the homosexual, the lesbian, and most definitely the transgender. Now, the homosexual has a glimmer of hope that he can come out of that perversion, but you and me know that 9 times out of 10 that never happens. Right? And if you look at this from a biblical point of view, Romans 1 says they're reprobate. They've been given over to a depraved mind. Right? To a reprobate mind. But this is what happens when the weak rule the strong, because in a healthy society where the strong rule the weak, this would never happen. Because that freak would have never had the boldness to do what they did in a healthy society, because they would have been hung by their neck in public, rightfully so. And the problem with this, the problem that we have where the weak are ruling over the strong, is due to the very ideology that transgender went in to snuff out. The Christian church, Christian ideology. Now, I am a kingdom Christian. But Christianity has become pacifist in nature. Largely very liberal, tolerant. And so now the base people of society, the dysgenic, the dysfunctional, the perverted, because traditional Christianity represents everything they are not and never can be, and never will be. And then they see now the very tolerant, woke Christianity that has allowed this. They feel comfortable in doing things like this because they know the modern Christian will say, well, we forgive them. Let's just pray for them. Let's pray they know Jesus. When any reading of the Bible beyond a superficial level will tell you that's not how it works. You know, the Bible even says, and this is New Testament, that Jehovah brings that he brings vengeance on those who trouble his saints. And the Christian thinks that this means, well, we're not going to do nothing about it, and we're going to wait for Jesus to come back. But that's not how it works either. See, we have been blessed with brains, been blessed with hands and feet, the ability to fight. The Christian will quote the book of Ephesians and say this is a spiritual war, not carnal. And they're absolutely right. But a spiritual war doesn't exclude physical action. It doesn't. Because it's like Julius Evola says in Revolt Against the Modern World, in the ancient traditions, in order to enact a holy war, the external holy war, a physical holy war, you had to first win the inner holy war within yourself. Therefore, it is spiritual first. Then, once you have won that inner holy war, or at least are in the process of it, you can enact the external holy war. And largely, Christianity is at fault for what is going on in society today. Because Christianity has turned in the sword. See, Jesus told his disciples as they traveled, buy a sword. Now, they weren't going around attacking people, obviously, but it likely was for protection, because people don't realize how dangerous it was in Judea and the greater land of Israel in those times. There was political unrest, political upheaval. There were militant groups, zealots, and likely Jesus wanted the disciples to be able to protect themselves. At that time, at least. And so what you had yesterday was just an example of the weak ruling over the strong, the base things of this world, the degenerate, dysfunctional, dysgenic, the pervert, ruling over the strong, healthy, and moral. The problem, even with good Christians today, that still believe in family values and morals, is they've put away the sword. So now the base things of this world, whether it's Antifa, Black Lives Matter, all these liberal leftist commies feel comfortable with attacking Christians, mocking Christians. There's no fear in them. But you notice they won't do that to Muhammad, right? Why? Because in Islamic doctrine, they believe in the sword. They know that if they transgress Islam, that they'll be held to pay. That used to be true with Christianity as well. So this is exactly what Christians need to ponder. They'll say, well, we're supposed to be meek. Yeah. Read once Psalm 149 and read what it says about the meek and what they do and what Jehovah has written for them to do. Then you'll see what meek really means. See, we live in a decadent, capitalistic society that is run by the Jew, who hates everything that is beautiful, healthy, wholesome, and true. Everything that is noble, everything that is Aryan in spirit. And what you had yesterday was the base result of a Judeo-bio-spirit that has, like gangrene, spread throughout America, and uplifting the most disgusting, perverted people, of which, if you want to talk about disgusting, perverted, the LGBTQ people are the very final expression of that.